Well, hello and welcome to the new video. And this time we have the KGM Tivoli or the SsangYong Tivoli here, and this is the compact crossover, the smallest car of the brand, and it comes with a refreshed design. So they covered what used to be a grille here. Now it's just this plastic that, as you can see, has already killed a lot of bees and stuff. And so for the cooling, you have this opening down here, so it is still very sufficient for the cooling. I think the aerodynamics is slightly better on the front thanks to this, but overall the aerodynamics of the car compared to its rivals is slightly worse because it has a lot of a lot of big angles on the windscreen and stuff. But they were still trying to make it more aerodynamic. So you also have these rubber curtains ahead of the wheels to lead the air. And by the way, in terms of design, I think it's a fresh looking car. I really do like these three openings here and this sort of cover for the tow eye. So I think it's cool looking, and it has these new LED lights. They are very strong in the night. Very good. Okay, let's go around the car. Let's go this way. So we have, this is the Style Plus car. We have 18-inch wheels with a tires of 215/50 R18. The car weighs 1,360 kilos, around that. So I think decent size of the tire. Yeah, it's good. We have a very slight positive caster as well on the front and sufficiently big brakes. Now if we go further around the car, we have a 2.6-meter wheelbase, which is something pretty normal in this class. And yeah, it's decently comfortable, although it gives you a little bit of rotation under braking because it is a shorter wheelbase. Now, as we are coming to the back of the car, the design change here is that now we have Tivoli here, like as a badging, and we have these big LED slash halogen lights. Now, if we go to the boot, if you open the boot, we come to the boot, which is the biggest actually in the class in the standard form. It is 423 liters in capacity, and it has these two floors actually that you can put it out, and now it looks at like those 423 liters. So really rather a big practical boot. It has a wide enough opening, really loads of space here. So I do like that. You also have a 12-volt socket there and a light here. And if you want to put the seats down, you just flick the switch and it goes down. And then it is like 1150 liters, I think it was. And by the way, the shape of the car is such that it's actually quite a tall car, and also the roof isn't sloping very much, and that again leads to a slightly bigger aerodynamic coefficient. Now, you put the petrol here on the left side, like in the Mazda cars, and now let's try the comfort here in the back. And I actually have to say, it's very decent in here. I mean, I have the seat in my typical sitting position, and I have just enough space really for sitting here. But where it's really good is the feet, loads of space, and the head, really big amount of space here. So really good in this regard. And then in terms of comfort, you have decently sized door bins, another space here. But what you are missing are any sort of connectors for charging or ventilation. So yeah, that's what I'm missing here in the car. Otherwise, you have these hooks here, a good light, and you have also this sort of a netting here to catch some things to the seat. Yeah. Now let's have a look under the bonnet, under the business end of the car. What we find out is that this car, this smallest car of the company, that only weighs 1,300 kilos, where does this go to? Here. That only weighs 1,300 kilos, has the same engine as the bigger models. So it is the typical 1.5 turbo, producing 163 horsepower and 280 Newton meters. And this sort of power can really move with the car, with such a light car. So it is really sufficient in most driving situations. So really good in this regard. And also the engine bay is nice and clean. The layout is very easy for the mechanics to work. You have turbo in the front, battery, air filter, really good access to everything. So really well done in all SsangYong cars in this regard. And you can have this engine mounted to either a 6-speed manual or a 6-speed automatic, as it is in this case. And you can have the powertrain. You can either power the front wheels only or the four-wheel drive. So, or all-wheel drive, which is very unusual in this category of the cars, and it's a really, I think, a very cool feature about the car. But anyway, that's it to the walk around. Now let's take the car further down that road and let's see how it drives. Oh, well, hello and welcome inside the SsangYong Tivoli, a city SUV, very small, compact SUV, and the smallest car of the SsangYong currently. Let me start the car because it's actually quite warm in here. And it's a very interesting car, mostly because it's very reasonably priced and giving you good space and good quality actually. So now let me talk you through the interior, which is very simple, very sort of user-like, very user-friendly, because you have loads of buttons. Everything essential is to be controlled by the buttons. So when I start up the car, immediately I can turn off the start and stop here with the big button, and then here I have another big button. I can turn off the lane assist, which is also still here, at the price of just over 23,000 euros. So really good, and it starts at 17,000. So really good. Yeah, you have all sort of assistance here. You also have the downhill assist. You can get this car also with a 4-wheel drive, which is incredible. Of course, you have to pay for it. It's like 1,690 euros that you pay for it, but you can get it with a 4-wheel drive. So it's actually a proper SUV, and you can use it. So yeah, really good. And now in terms of the interior, it is quite elegant, I have to say, and very good. You have this sort of nice display for the air conditioning here, and the sort of touch buttons here for it. Then you have a normal hardware buttons for the heating of the seats, and also a button for changing the driving mode. So here with this automatic transmission, you have 3 driving modes. You have normal, sport, and then winter, which of course you can use in the winter. You also have a heated steering wheel. So really nice. The steering wheel itself, it's leather. It has a nice shape. It's quite big actually. But yeah, in terms of seating position and the seats they actually hold you quite well in the corners, which is kind of surprising. And the seating position is actually you know, compared to the interior, quite low. But otherwise it's a typical SUV. So you are actually sitting quite high. One other thing I want to mention is you have a proper armrest with a big space inside, and also a wireless charging for your phone. Yeah, so really good. Now let me take you for a drive. And another thing I like, look at this, a normal handbrake, no parking electronic stuff, normal handbrake, so you can actually use it when it's good for you. Okay, so let me drive. That's it off. So maybe as you can see the windscreen here ahead of me, it is quite a steep windscreen, and so yeah, now it kills a lot of flies and stuff, and it's full of flies. It's full of flies like a G-Wagon or something like that. So yeah, and it's also a part of the aerodynamics of the car, which we have to be sincere about it. It's not quite on the level of some of its competitors, more costly competitors, more well-sold cars. It's just over 0.3, which I think is very reasonable for a boxy shape that this car has. Particularly with the new front mask that they facelifted. Yeah, but it's a bigger aerodynamic coefficient also in the rear. there's quite a big drawback, and it makes the fuel consumption slightly bigger. But now let me tell you about the engine, because in the brands like Renault you have to pay over, I think it also can be over 23,000, which this car costs, to be able to have a 1.3 with 160 horsepower. And this car, as it is, even the basic spec for 17,000, you get a 1.5 turbo with 160 horsepower, and it's 163 horsepower and 280 Newton meters. And isn't that great? I find it absolutely, kind of amazing. And if I would pair it with a manual gearbox, I could have slightly better fuel consumption than I have now, and I could get even better dynamics thanks to it. So I think, and the car weighs just over 1,360 kilos, so it's actually quite light. You have to think, yeah. So you have 1,360 kilos, 160 horsepower, and that gives you really quite good dynamics. Let me show you. Let me accelerate a little bit here. So foot flat down. 100, 110, 120. Yeah, this is really sufficient for overtaking, I have to say. You also have a manual mode here in the gearbox, which works just fine, and you can improve the fuel efficiency slightly with it. So yeah, the power of the engine, I think it's really an advantage of this car, and compared to the price that you're getting the car, really good. This 163 horsepower. You can overtake, you can do stuff, really good. And now in terms of the fuel efficiency, let me tell you, on the motorway at 130, it's 7.5. On a windy day, it's like 7.8. So really okay. In the city, it's around 7, again 7, almost 7.5. And now I'm gonna test it out here on the B road, and let me see what I can do as an average. Now I did the motorway part of the journey, so yeah. Now let me come to the suspension. So we have a very normal suspension. We have McPherson in the front, and we have a normal torsion bar in the back. We have a bigger camber though on the rear wheels, which is nice for cornering. And to the damping, I have to say it's a comfortable car to drive. The damping is really nice and relaxed, but it isn't too soft. The body control on the bumpy road is actually quite good. You have a very minimal bounce at the front on the bigger angulations, but overall the body control is still very good. Yeah, I would say excellent for a car, and you can certainly feel the lightness in the damping as well when you're on a bouncy road. So really good in this regard. The wheelbase is exactly 2.6 meter, and now what the shorter wheelbase always does is it makes the car a little bit less comfortable, let's be honest, because of what it does physically, and because of the time related in between the wheels traveling through the bumps and angulations. Yeah, but it's still a very nice, I have to say, it's a very nice car to drive. And what I particularly like about the suspension is, and about driving the car, is the lightness I feel from it. I really do feel the lightness of the car, and I do like that. Now, I like the adjustability of the steering wheel. It's quite adjustable, really, in all directions, which is good. Yeah, and it also has, I think it has a decent feedback. I think there is some feedback, and now I'm on the winter tires, and it's a really sort of a hot day, and I can certainly feel that I have winter tires through the steering wheel. In terms of the steering itself, well, what I like about it is that it's not the sharpest steering wheel compared to where we are sitting, compared to how tall the car is, and where the balance of the car lies in terms of weight. So it's not too sharp. For example, the Renault Captur has quite a, I would say, too fast steering for how tall it is, and this in terms of in terms of speed is actually quite good, that it's slightly slower. There is a little bit of a numbness to it at the beginning, I have to say. Really, like the first 2 or 3 centimeters of the direction of the moving the steering wheel. Yeah, there is a bit of a numbness to it. But all around, I think it's precise enough for whatever you need for the driving. It's well precise for the car, actually. So in this regard, I think it's okay. Now, another thing that I've come to like is the cave here ahead of me for the driver's display. It's really deep inside there, so any sort of sunlight isn't shining onto it. It is really good in this regard. You can see it very good at all times. You have all of the important information there. Very easy to navigate through here on the steering wheel. I really do like that. That is a very good placement of it. Very well thought through. Then I also have to say, I kind of like the stereo here, the audio system. So you have speakers here, up here in the doors, then down here in the middle of the doors, and one big is here on the dash, and they actually sound quite good for a very normal stereo without any sort of a name behind it. They sound very well, I have to say. So really good again, also in this regard. And yeah, it's good. I mean, if we talk about it, really nowadays even these small SUVs, they can be quite costly for the very normal consumer, but this one 17,000 euros start, and you can get a 4-wheel drive with it. I really do like also the styling of the car. Wow, it's actually a very interesting car. So now maybe let's come through the dislikes and the likes of the car. So the dislikes, well, as a dislike, I would say is from a technical standpoint is the aerodynamics of the cars, because but I do get it, because SsangYong is sort of a very practical SUV, and they tend to have these boxy shapes. So I do get it, but from standpoint of competition to its competitors, it has a slightly bigger drag, and the car is really tall. And this together makes for a bigger drag and bigger fuel consumption. So that is a slight negative. And then the fuel consumption itself is the slight negative. It is around, well, let's say at the moment a liter taller than it should be, or than some of its very efficient competitors would have it. So that is a thing to think about, actually. Yeah, then maybe if you were pushing the car too hard into the corner, the rear tends to rotate quite a bit. But for a normal, very smooth driving through the corners, it is very decently stable, I have to say. But when you would be really onto it, it can rotate if there is a bump in the middle of the corner. So yeah, and then again, from terms of competing with its rivals, I have to say, in the back there could be a slightly better comfort. So you have no charging ports there, you have no air conditioning here from this central armrest, and you also have no armrest with cup holders back in there. So some of its competitors, they do have it, and it's always an upside if the passengers can enjoy a little bit of comfort in the back. And now let's come to the likes. So in between the likes, I have to say I really like the design of the car. Really fresh, sharp. Yeah, it's very nice, and I also like the name of it, the Tivoli. It sounds like Italian. I mean, Alfa Romeo, they could name their car Tivoli, and I would just take it. It sounds very Italian, and I do like that. Yeah. Then what I like is the spaciousness in the car. Even despite the car is not very long, it has a 2.6 meter wheelbase, there is really good amount of space in the back for the passengers, and it also has, as I found out, the biggest boot in this class in the standard capacity. It's 423 liters, and with this amount it surpasses the Renault Captur, which has 420 as a standard. So really, actually really good boot. You have like 2 floors there. Quite practical really. And the overall spaciousness of the car, even for a driver here, look at the amount of space I have for my head, is really nice. Then I also like the interior. It's no big amount of screens, particularly the touch screens, though you have one here, but you don't use it that much. And for most things there are buttons here, which is very nice, and it's all very logically put together, so you can remember it fantastically fast, and I do like that. Also the quality of the build, even though not the best quality materials are used here on the dash, although here I feel some softness to them, and to some I don't, but it's very well put together. Nothing squeaks too much in here. It's just well put together, this interior, really. So yeah, and you also get some nice texture here on the doors. Yeah, it doesn't feel bad, to be honest. Yeah, so I do like that. And then there is how I feel driving this car. I really feel quite relaxed driving this Tivoli. There is some relaxed feeling to it, particularly because of the lightness of the car that you feel on the steering wheel, that you feel when you go through the corners. It's always a nice thing driving a lightweight car, and compared to what I drive most of the time nowadays, these big chunky cars, this is a very refreshing feeling of driving this car. And then of course the last but not least is the price. Absolutely amazing. These cars are an amazing bargain. I mean, you get this car, you can get this car from 17,000 euros. I mean, that's unbelievable. With some other manufacturers you can't even get the small hatchbacks, which are not SUVs, for this amount of money, and you can get this for 17 and something. Really amazing. And now this is like almost, I would say, top spec, although we don't have the 4-wheel drive here, but we have the air conditioning, we have the automatic gearbox here, we have all of the assistant, we have a decently looking power reversing camera for 23,000 euros. And I bet at the dealer you can get even a better price for this equipment level. So really amazing price. I mean, really a car that, if you are thinking rationally with your head and you're looking for a car of this size, of this class, of this category, should be really appealing to you. And it definitely isn't that much worse that you would feel that you paid less money for the car because of a reason. There is really not a big reason. The only thing that is there is the slightly bigger fuel consumption that you can get better anyway with the option of a manual transmission instead of this ICE-in. It's in no meaning a bad gearbox. It's really good. It's very fluent, very smooth. It shifts nicely and fast. But I just feel this car would what would suit it more is a manual transmission. So yeah, all around it's a good experience, this car. And actually, if someone would be asking me for a car of this class, of this size, this is the one maybe I would advise, particularly because of the ratio between the price and what you are getting. Really good. Yeah, really good with this car. Yeah, anyway, that would be it to the SsangYong Tivoli. Keep watching, keep subscribing. Of course, more videos are coming on very soon, and I hope to see you in the very next one. In the meantime, take care of you, enjoy the nice days that are coming on, and yeah, I see you in the very next video. Goodbye.